how's it going everyone? Welcome back to Keep Fish Simple. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a bit of a video that I was kind of holding off for a bit because I wanted to make a series on it. I'm still going to be making a series, but I thought that I might as well just get on with it and make a video on how to care for angelfish. Now, I've been keeping angelfish since I was 14 years old. I'm 19 years old now, and I've got a lot of experience keeping these guys. I've bred them in the past, I'm breeding them at the moment, and I've raised up 6 beautiful koi angelfish that you can see behind me, and I'm going to be doing a heap of videos showing you the fish. During this video I've been keeping them and I've raised them up since they were little fish, and I've actually bred them now. So I've got a lot of experience, I know what I'm talking about, and if there's anything I don't know I'll mention it, but I've been keeping these guys for a long time, so I'm going to be trying to make this as easy as possible for you when you're getting your first set of angelfish. This will be a bit of a longer video, but I'm guaranteeing you this will be worth it. So make sure you stay around to the end of the video, get all the information that we're going to give you guys, and without any further ado, let's get started. Now, before I start talking about how to breed these guys, I'm going to be talking about obviously how to care for them. So I'm going to guess that you're going to be getting angelfish probably from a pet store. If you're not going to be getting them from a pet store, you're probably going to be getting them from a local breeder. Now, I'd recommend getting angelfish from a local breeder just for a few reasons. Now, angelfish do not require any certain kind of parameters. They like a little bit of water on the softer side than the hard side, but they're really not that particular in what they need. You can kind of keep them in pretty much any kind of water now. They've been in the hobby for a long time, so they're kind of adapted to that. And most of the angelfish that you buy are going to be bred, captive bred. So they'll probably be bred at a farm or something like that. But if you guys can get them from a local breeder, they'll probably have the same kind of water. So the change for them to go from their water to your water isn't the same difference as coming from, say, Indonesia, where we probably get all of our fish from in Australia, to here, where the water's going to be completely different. So that's my first thing. Now, when you're buying angelfish from a pet store, it's important that you try to get fish that are about a 50-cent piece size if you're an Australian, I think a quarter size in America. You want them to be kind of juvenile, you don't want them to be an adult, because normally if they're in the pet store as an adult, there's going to be a few reasons why. Like, they might be sterile, they might be spares, which is okay. There's a bunch of, like, they could have had an illness and that's why the breeders have gotten rid of them. So it's important that you get them and you watch them develop and grow up and you notice anything that they're doing. Now, I recommend getting for, say, you kind of want to keep them in at least a 20-gallon aquarium. If you're going to have a 20-gallon aquarium, which is 80 litres in Australia, you kind of want to only have about 4. I've got 240 litre 4-footer behind me, which is 55 gallons. I'm just getting used to this stuff in my head, and I keep 6 in there, so that's kind of understock, and these are just the same 6. So what you want to do is you want to buy a group of about 6 or more. If you can, maybe 4 is probably the minimum. If you're trying to get a breeding pair, your best luck is to have 6. And to care for these guys, they don't take any special water parameters. You kind of want to keep them between the same parameters as guppies, so about 20 degrees to about 26 degrees they'll be happy in, and the water parameters can go from literally from 6 or even lower than that all the way up to 8 pH, so it really doesn't matter. The only important thing is to keep clean water. You don't want to underfilter these guys, you want to overfilter these guys if anything, because they create a lot of waste because they're a big fish, and you want to give them a lot of space. Now, tanks size, you want to kind of have a taller tank. They will go in sort of smaller squashed thinner tanks, but you'd rather them be in a tall tank because they're a tall fish and you want them to extend their fins. And when buying them, you want to look for a few things. You want to look for really fat heads, you want to look for good size, so that triangular kind of shape. You don't want to see any bent fins or any of that kind of stuff. You want to get fish that already look healthy. You want to stay away from fish with cloudy eyes. You want to make sure that if you can, you get the person that's selling you the fish, you watch them get fed to make sure they're eating, they're aggressive when they eat, because angelfish are very clever fish and they come up to the tank. They're really personable fish. Like, if I come over here right now, they'll probably come up to the top of the tank, as you can see. So they're really switched on. They're a really clever fish, and you want to make sure that they're doing all of these kind of behaviors before you buy them, because you don't want to be medicating your tank. It can get expensive and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, feeding these guys, you want to feed them a variety of different foods. You want to feed them stuff like bloodworms. I feed frozen bloodworms. You want to feed tropical flakes. You want to kind of get some vegetables in there. They'll even pick it. Like, I mean, I put beans and stuff in my aquariums for the bristlenose, and they actually pick on them too. So you want to kind of keep that varied diet. You want more of a protein-based diet. And if you want to induce these guys to breed, you want to feed them bloodworms, because it gets them into the mood, because it's such a high protein food. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend feeding brine shrimp after they've kind of become an adult. If they're quarter size and you're trying to get them to grow a bit quicker, you can feed them all kinds of stuff. And you want to feed them like twice a day, and that'll be good enough. So you need a heater, you need a filter, you need a tank that's kind of taller, at least 20 gallons, and you'll be sweet to go. So that's how to care for these guys. I don't think I've missed anything. You don't need to have substrate or anything. You can have a bare bottom tank. I've literally just listed everything you need to have. If you want to add stuff like plants and all that kind of stuff, go for your life. It really doesn't matter with these guys. They're super easy fish to take care of. On to the breeding. Now this is a little bit of a tricky process compared to some of the other fish. I'm not telling you that it's easy, but it's not something I'd recommend for a first time fish keeper to try. A lot of people kind of stumble onto fry because they'll buy angelfish, not intending to breed them. They'll get a breeding pair and then they'll just start breeding like crazy. So the way these guys breed is they'll choose a breeding pair, like a mate, and they will mate for life. Now you can actually have some cases where they'll breed once with another fish and then kind of won't breed again, and they'll go and actually pair with other fish, all kinds of stuff. But generally what happens is they'll pair for life. When these guys pair, what you want to do is you want to buy them at quarter size. They'll grow up together and you'll get a couple pairs, or you might get one pair. And what you want to do is you want to separate that pair in, like if you want to pick the same colors, whatever, you can go and like experiment with all the different kinds of colors. You either want to separate them and put them in an aquarium with a piece of slate or something, because they like to lay their eggs on that 45-degree angle or a little bit higher, almost vertical. And I've actually seen them lay on the side of the aquarium, and it's hard to sex these guys. I made a video. I'm not going to really go into depth with it because it's kind of a complicated thing. You'll know what the genders are of the fish when they start to breed. If you get 6 fish, the chances of you getting all genders of one, like all of one gender, is very unlikely, so that's why I recommend 6. You can watch that video, I'll put it down below. It'll be super easy for you guys to tell after that. Basically when they start to pair off, you can choose whether you're going to let the parents take care of the eggs or if you're going to raise the eggs yourself. I personally raise the eggs myself because of the tank space I have and because of the success rate I have with raising the fry myself. Now, letting the parents raise the fry, what they'll do is they'll take care of, like they'll monitor and fan the eggs for about 5 days after they've been laid till they become hatching, and they'll start to actually teach the fry to swim. Now the fry will teach themselves to swim if you don't let the parents do their job. The parents sometimes will eat the fry the first couple of times that they've been breeding, and that's completely normal because they're just getting used to it, but after a little bit they'll learn and they won't be eating the fry, and they'll start to do a really good job parenting. Now, when these guys breed, if you've left them in the tank with the parents, you have to take them out and you want to raise them up on brine shrimp and all that kind of stuff. I've made heaps of videos on that. That's a whole nother topic on how to raise fry. But that's how you get them to breed. If you guys can't get them to breed, I recommend to feed the bloodworms. You want to feed live foods and you want to get them into that spawning kind of mood. You can do regular water changes and they'll think it's ready, it's time to breed that time of season. And they're not as specifically hard fish to breed, like I said, but super satisfying fish to breed. So I think I've covered everything. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys learned something today. I hope I could help you out. If I've missed anything, please leave it down below. And thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.